happy Monday, November 1st. I cannot believe it's already November. This year has just flown by, at least in my opinion. And now we're in the colder kind of stuff, and so expect to see these on quite a bit because I think today's high is maybe 49. So, yeah, I'm not happy. But anyway, I thought I would kick off this vlog and come in here and let you know a few of the things that I would like to try to get to this week. And so the first one is Zeb Bolt and the Ember Scroll. It's number 3 in the Unmapped Chronicles. It's by Abby Elfinstone, and this one is one of my Believe-a-thon books that I want to get to. It's the I think it's the Faraway Adventure one that I'm doing. I don't remember which prompt it goes to, but I think that was what it went to. Maybe. I'm not sure. Anyway, this one is about Zeb, who is an orphan, and he finds some phoenix tears, which brings him to, I believe, Crackledon. I'm not for sure, but I think there, where Morg is waiting for him and wants him to help her defeat the Unmapped Chronicles. And so he's going to have to decide for himself whether he wants to help her or help those in Crackledon. And so I'm really curious to see how this one's going to go. It's the final installment in the trilogy. Kind of wish there's going to be more because I really like this series, but each one of them can be read separately. They're like companion novels. So like the first one had Casper, it was the main character. The second one, it had these twins. I think it was Fox and Fibber. They were twins, and that one wasn't quite my favorite. I like the first one better than that one, and so I'm hoping this one is going to be a win too. And so I can't wait to get to this one. I've just started it, so I'm only like 2% into it, so hopefully it's going to be a good one. And so I'm also going to be working on A Stitch in Crime by Betty Heckman. This is one of the scavenger hunt prompts. It's probably not the one I'm supposed to read first, but I started it, and so I'm going to go ahead with it. That's okay. My only problem is I read this author's other crafty novels, the Yarn Retreat series. It's the same narrator, and it seems to be almost the same plot line. So I'm getting a little confused. I keep thinking I'm going to be hearing character names from the other series, and it's not, because it's the same. I think if you're going to do the same kind of crafting, because like the Yarn Retreat was I think they were knitters, and these are crocheters, but she's running like it's not like a retreat, but she's running events that have crafting, like the crocheting. So it's almost the same. You should definitely have a different narrator, because all I can hear now is the sounds, the voice sounds of the other the other book, and I'm having a hard time connecting with this one. But we're gonna give it a try. And also, I would like to get to Foxcraft by in Bali as Ezrelis. Yeah, like, I have no idea how to pronounce that, but yeah, there we go. And this is the first book in the Foxcraft series. This is called Taken. I don't know anything really about it, so we'll find out together. All I know is it's about a fox. That's all I know. But yeah, that's sort of my plans for this week, and y'all know that can change really quickly with me, but that is my plan. So I will update you later. Hello everybody. It's Wednesday, and it's, I don't know, almost 1 o'clock. It's chilly, but I need to stack some wood. Got my wood here, I'm stacking. Got my pile back here. So yeah, fun. I just love this time of year, really. Anyway, I'm listening to The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osmond. I realized that I only had like 5 days of it left, then it goes back on overdrive. So I decided to throw it into the mix of everything that I'm currently reading, listening to. That way I could get it done because there's like 6 or 7 people waiting on it. So if I let it go back, then I've got to put it back on hold for a while. And so I thought, I'm just going to go ahead and just do it now because it is one of the books in my pile of possibilities. So I just decided to go for it. And so I'm going to listen to that while I'm stacking this wood. Hello, everybody. It is Wednesday night, almost 9 o'clock. And I thought I would just come on here and kind of give you an update about how the week's going. I haven't finished a single thing yet. I don't know. I have all these different ones, and I keep thinking, oh, I need to do this one or that one, or I want to read everything because there's just so many different things that I want to read, and I just can't read them all at the same time. But I am 38% into Zeb Bolt and the Ember Scroll by Elfinstone. This is the third book in the This is the third book in the Unmapped Chronicles, and I'm enjoying it so far. I really like it. Zeb, he's an orphan, and he gets kind of conned into helping the harpy, the bad person that's wanting to get into the unmapped places, and then he finds out that she's not a very nice person, and he has to kind of decide what he's going to do, be good or be bad, kind of a thing. And it's cool. I said before that none of these like connected that much because they're kind of like companions because the other characters have never been in it, but that's not extremely true. In the second one, you do meet Casper, but he's like an old man, and he's the one that gives the Phoenix tear or whatever to the kids in that one. And then in this one, you meet Fox Petty Squabble, who was from the second book, because they were twins. They were Fox and Fibber, and she's like in her 30s or something, and she meets Zeb and everything, and stuff. And so I think she may have a little bit more of a thing to maybe further on. I'm not sure, because she had found a Phoenix tear or whatever, and so I don't know if she's gonna pop back into the story or whatever. So that was cool. So I thought I would mention that. They are still kind of companions, but does have the characters in it, but they're like much older, because for like one year in the far away, which would be like our place in the Unmapped Chronicles, it could be like 500 years or something like that. So it's kind of interesting how that, does it that different way or whatever. But yeah, so enjoying this one. I kind of put A Stitch in Crime on hold because I'm just not really into it, because the narrator is the same as the Yarn Retreat, and I'm getting it kind of confused, and I'm just not really into it. And so I don't need to have that one done right now anyway. I need to get Lemon Drop Dead by Amanda Flowers done. It's book 6 in the Amish Candy Shop series, and it's for my animal one. And since the scavenger hunts, the animal comes first. I'll be for the hobby craft one, so I need to get it done. So I've been listening to it, and I'm I think probably about 35% into it, and I'm enjoying it so far. And then I decided to switch or to add another book, because I was looking at my library books that I already had like on overdrive, and the Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osmond, I only have it for 5 more days, and then it goes back on overdrive, and there's like 6 or 7 people waiting on it. So I decided to go ahead and add it to the books, and because I really wanted to try it, and I didn't want to have to put it back on hold and then wait for however long. And so I'm really enjoying it. I just started it today, and I'm already like 50% into it, so hopefully I can finish it up tomorrow, and then I can send it off to all those other people that are waiting on it. Because I always feel bad when I see that there's like people waiting. So try to do that. But yeah, other than that, I haven't read a whole lot today. I stacked wood and it was cold and I don't like this weather. And I think that's what's affecting my mood when it comes to reading too. Because usually by now I should at least have one book finished, and I haven't finished anything. So hopefully I'll get a book finished by the end of this vlog. Hopefully. Hello everybody, it is Friday and I have not vlogged very much this week. Most of it is because I haven't really read a whole lot, so I didn't really have anything to say. But I have finished 3 of the audiobooks that I was listening to, so I thought I would come on here and kind of tell you what I thought about them. The first one would be The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osmond, and it was pretty good. I liked it. I gave it 4 stars. I thought it was a lot of fun. It's kind of like a cozy, but a little bit grittier maybe. I can see it being for some people who are into cozies and maybe not being for some others. But I thought it was pretty cool. And it has senior sleuths in it, so it's kind of fun. There's these 4. There's Ruth, who is a retired DCI, so she's the one that kind of got the group going because she has some cold cases that they can work on, and so they kind of sit around, in the retirement village and, try to solve these cases that haven't been solved. And then Joyce, it's told like with Joyce, I think that kind of like the perspective of Joyce, because she is a new person to the retirement home, and Elizabeth invites her to join the club, and she's a former nurse. And so she's, kind of on the outside looking in at this group. And so they also invite every now and then somebody to come from the police and talk to them about things and forensic stuff like that. And a young PC, her name is Donna De Fuentes or something like that. And she was expecting to talk to them about scammers and frauds and, things like that, that you would think that you would talk to people in a retirement home about. And no, they want to talk about cases and they want to talk about all this stuff. So they kind of took her like she's like, whoa, and everything. But yeah, so it was kind of fun. And then the guy who I think owns the retirement village, and he was trying to expand or do something. It's something to do with that. I can't quite remember. His name was Tony, and he ends up murdered. And so now the murder club is like, oh, we have an actual murder to try to solve. And so they rope Donna into letting them, help investigate. And then there's another policeman. I think his name was Chris. And so, yeah, they're all trying to figure it out. And it was just a lot of fun. I think if you're a fan of like Midsomer Murders, the TV show, you would like this because it kind of felt like the TV show, but instead of just the 2 policemen that are figuring things out, you had some senior sleuths helping. That's kind of the feel I got and everything. And so yeah, 4 stars. I enjoyed that. And then the next one that I listened to is Lemon Drop Dead by Amanda Flowers, and this is the 6th book in the Amish Candy Shop series. And so now I am officially caught up on the series because this one came out this year. And we have Bailey, and some things happen. Emma is one of the girls that works in the store with her at the candy shop. She's kind of on the outs with her brother and sister because she chose to work in the candy shop and not with them because they're just nasty. I don't like them very well. And something comes up that has to do with Emma, but I can't really say because I don't want to spoil anything, and it could spoil some things that you find out in previous books. And so I don't want to really, say anything. But anyway, she gets roped into trying to figure out what happened and everything, because now it's Esther, which is Emma's sister, could be considered a suspect. And even though Bailey is not a big fan of Esther, it is Emma's sister, and so she will help her and everything. And it gets Bailey into all kinds of trouble. And then there's some things going on with her and Aiden that I can't talk about. And yeah, so it was good. I liked it. I gave it 4 stars. It's always fun. I actually don't think there was as much about Juliet trying to drive Bailey crazy with considering them like almost married. There was a little bit, but getting her and Aiden married, but there's a little bit, but there wasn't as much. And of course, there was Jethro the pig, and he's like one of my favorite parts of the story. You gotta have Jethro. And yeah, so it was good. I liked it. And then I finished A Stitch in Crime by Betty Heckman. And this is, I think it's number 4 in the Crochet Mystery series. I can't remember exactly for sure, but I think it's number 4. And it's been a while since I listened to this series, and I just wasn't connecting very well with the characters. I remember Molly Pink, and I remember the Tarzana Hookers, which is the crochet club, but that's pretty much all I could remember. I started to remember Barry a little bit more we got into it, but my main problem is, and I think I'm going to have to, after I've done this one, I think I might step back from the series for a little while, because the narrator for this series is the same one for her Yarn Retreat series, and I kept hearing, it sounded like it should be Casey Felstein and Frank and all the ones from the Yarn Retreat in my ear instead of these other characters. And so I just wasn't really connecting very well with it. For a lot of times it just kind of brought me out of the story, and I just kind of was listening to it, but I wasn't listening to it. And I gave it 3 stars because it was okay and everything, and I didn't get the guess who the person was, but that's probably just me not paying that much attention. But anyway, I overall I liked it. It was okay. It is almost 10 o'clock on Friday night, and just got off of Suspense not very long ago, and then I had to go downstairs and work on building the fire and everything. And while I was down there, I finished Zeb Bolt and the Ember Scroll by Abby Elfinstone. This is the 3rd and final book in the Unmapped Chronicles, and I really enjoyed this one. I think I probably like this one the best out of all of them. The first one being Casper Talk and the Everdark Wings. The second one was the Bickery Twins and the Phoenix Tears. And then this one. And yeah, this one had a little bit of carryover from the second book. It had one of the characters in it, Fox Petty Squabble. And I'll tell you what, I think one of the things I really liked about this was seeing that how she turned out. She's like in her 30s now in this book. In the second book, she was my probably least favorite character out of the whole series. She was horrible. Both of the twins were pretty bad, and they were supposed to be kind of pretty bad, and then they kind of learned their lessons while they were trying to save I think it was Jungle Drop that they were in. It's a part of the Unmapped, because the first one was Rumble Star, and then I think it was Jungle Drop, and then this one they were in Crackle Dawn. And yeah, so she's 30 years old. Their time's different in the Unmapped Kingdom than it is in the Faraway, and so like she's 30 years old, but in the Unmapped place it's been like 500 years or something like that. So yeah, so time's a lot different. And Morg, the harpy that they've been trying to defeat throughout this whole thing, has figured out how to get in there and everything, and it has to do with Zeb Bolt. And at the beginning, he's an orphan. He's been tossed from foster home to foster home, and he's a boy who thinks of himself as like a nobody that nobody wants, and he's very quiet, and the only thing that he likes is music. And he's tired of trusting people because they always end up disappointing him. Their promises are worthless and all that kind of stuff. And then he runs away, and he ends up in this old rundown theater, and there was a piano there, and he was playing the piano, and Fox, a petty squabble, heard him playing because she lived nearby, and she found him, and she's trying to be nice to him, and she said that she would be right back. She needed to go get her wallet, and she would buy him a milkshake or something like that, and he didn't know if he should trust her or anything because he has the trust issues. While she's gone, Morg the harpy was there and got him to do like things that she wanted, and then that he ends up in the Unmapped Chronicles and the Crackle Dawn. And then he decides that he doesn't really quite like her very well, and he ends up with another group of people, which is the girl here and her chameleon, whose name is Miss Finkelton. And I just liked her. She was really cute. The chameleon was adorable. And I really liked Uni too. She was cool. And he kind of, it's a story about a boy who's lonely and he doesn't have anybody. He has trust issues and all this. Every time he decides to trust somebody, it seems like something happens and it breaks his trust, and he's not going to ever trust again. And Uni, she's kind of the same way as him. She's a sun raider. That's what they do there. They get sun chatters and stuff, and they make scrolls, and whenever they make the sun scrolls, they send it to the far away, and that's how the far away gets their sunlight and stuff. And it's all magical, all this kind of cool stuff. And Uni is blind, but she's like one of the best sun raiders there is, and that's her ship called the Kerfuffle. And they're out there, they find Zeb and end up rescuing him, and then they've decided that it's their quest to go and find the Ember Scroll to save Crackle Dawn and all these other places. Zeb, at first, he's not wanting to save anybody but himself. He's going to find the Ember Scroll and write himself an ending on the scroll. And see, the Harpy wants to get rid of Crackle Dawn, or the Unmapped Kingdoms, and if they do that, then the Far Away disappears too, so everybody's gone. And so they're on this quest. And Uni doesn't like to ask for help, because she's blind. Miss Finkelton is the one that kind of helps her, tells her like which way to go and all that stuff and everything. And she has a hard time accepting help, and so therefore she's a lonely girl because she doesn't want anybody to do anything for her, and so she has no friends. So they're kind of in the same boat because of that. And they both learn a lot of lessons along the way, and Zeb learns about he learns how to trust, he learns about hope, he learns that there are people that will keep their promises, and Fox Petty Squabble actually follows him to the Unmapped Kingdom trying to find him, because she did promise that she would come back and she was going to find him no matter what, which I thought was cool. So she is in this book a little bit and everything, and it had a super sweet ending, and I really like this trilogy. It was really good. It always had a lesson to be learned in each one of them. And yeah, if you like middle grade fantasy, you really need to check this out. And I gave this one 5 stars because it was my favorite one out of the whole series. Hello everybody. I was getting ready to start editing, and I realized that I didn't wrap up the vlog. So I thought I'd come back and just kind of do a little recap. So I finished 4 books, which was really good because at the beginning of the week I didn't think I was going to finish anything, and then it seemed like all of a sudden I just finished. And that's kind of how it goes a lot of times when you read a lot of books at the same time. So I finished The Thursday Club by Richard Osmond, Gave it 4 stars. I really liked it. It was kind of a grittier, cozy mystery. I wouldn't just say it was a cozy mystery, but it kind of was a little bit like a cozy mystery. But I think it would just depend on who was reading it if they would classify it as a cozy. But I liked it. And then I read Lemon Drop Dead by Amanda Flowers, which is the 6th book in the Amish Candy Shop series. And I really liked that one. I gave it 4 stars as well. I liked it. It was super cute. And it's got me all caught up on a series. And so that was one that was on my series about series list. So I can check another one off of there, which is good. And then I read A Stitch in Crime by Betty Heckman. And it's the 4th book in the Crochet Mystery series. And it was okay. I gave it 3 stars, and I don't really think it was very fair of me because I was having a hard time because the narrator was the same one from the Yarn Retreat series. And so it kept making me think I was listening to that series, and it wasn't. This is about Molly Pink and the Tarzana Hookers, which is a different club, a different bunch of people. But at the same time, Molly Pink was putting on a retreat for like these crocheters and stuff. So it made me think of the other series. And I just wish that if an author has 2 series that contain the same kind of stuff, that they would change the narrators. You know, because I like Margaret Strom, who's the one that narrates both of the series. She's really good. It's just that I kept I kept thinking I was listening to the other series. And so, but, I think maybe then I'm going to step away from the series for a little bit. And then maybe when I go back to it, I won't have that other one in my head because I had just caught up on that one a few months ago. And so it was still really fresh in my head. But overall, it was still good. Then I finished Zeb Bolt and the Ember Scroll by Abby Elfinstone. And this is the 3rd and final book in the Unmapped Chronicles. I'm a little sad. I really like this series. I wish it wasn't just a trilogy. But, all good things must come to an end at times. And so this one was about a Zebedee Bolt who is an orphan. And he's tired of being in foster home after foster home. Sort of thinks of himself as a bit of a nobody. But then he ends up in this other world. And he has to learn a lot of things about himself, about how to trust other people, how to have hope, and all that stuff. And it was just really cute, and I enjoyed it, and I gave it 5 stars because it is my favorite book of this series. I liked Casper Talk and the Everdark Wings, which was book 1. Book 2 had the Bickery twins. It was about the Bickery twins and the Phoenix Tear. And that one had the twins Fox and Fibber Petty Squabble, and yeah, it took me a little bit longer to kind of warm up to them because they were atrocious. But I did like them, and I ended up, liking the book, but it's probably my least favorite one out of this whole series. And so this one would be my favorite. And so I suggest that if you like middle grade fantasy, you give this series a try because it was really good. So yeah, that's everything that I read from the 1st through the 7th. So overall, no, take that back. That's everything that I read from the 1st through the 6th, because that's officially when I'm ending this vlog was yesterday, even though I had to pop back on here today, which is Sunday. So yeah, I finished everything I wanted to finish for this vlog yesterday. So there's that. And so here is the question. Do you like me doing these like vlog style weekly things, or did you like it when I just did a reading wrap up? I would like to know which one you prefer. Sometimes there probably isn't going to be much content except for me telling you when I finished a book and what I thought of it. Then other times there might be actually some other content. But I feel like I'm a rather boring person and I don't have a lot to show people like some people do when they do vlogs. So I'm just curious that if you prefer it like this, or if you just like it when I just do a Sunday wrap up and I just talk about all the books. So let me know. I don't mind doing it this way, but I don't mind doing it the other way too, so I'm just curious. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.